Hey, this video won't be at all upbeat, but then again, when are my videos upbeat? This is something I just felt like I had to say, more than something you might want to hear. This is. Yeah, I got a little bit of a sore throat today. This is my deconversion story. This is how I went from being a Christian to no longer being a Christian, or at least no longer identifying myself with the Christian faith. Let's get started. Well, firstly, when I was born, I had like this issue in my lungs. It's called bronchopulmonary dysplasia. It's some really bad shit. And according to the doctors, I was gonna die. So they said, you know what? Just dunk him in the water. If he dies, he goes to Jesus. Whatever the fuck happens. Somehow that thing, didn't end up killing me, and I'm really grateful for surviving that. But my mom just like read it as, oh, this is a miracle, which it could have been. But I don't like to call things miracles because it like blinds us from looking into, okay, what really happened here. Maybe this is like something that could be studied or something like that. That was basically like my start in Christianity. I was baptized like when I was 4, I think. I was baptized like formally in a church. The other one was just like an emergency baptism they did. So it's like, if he croaks, send him to Jesus. That sort of stuff. At 5 years old, however, trauma. Pure trauma. Think about this. If you didn't know too much about the Bible and you saw an image of the guy you're supposed to follow in this religion, if you saw that guy nailed dead to a tree, how would you react? I just started crying. I was a little bit of a crybaby back then, so maybe that had a bit to do with it. But Jesus fucking Christ, showing that shit to a child? To a little kid? Somehow I was the only one that cried. Maybe the others were like desensitized to it a bit. They already knew a bit more about that religious stuff than I did. But I was fucking scarred. I was just, Jesus. Literally. Then, I started questioning a lot. Not immediately after, but like throughout the years, I started questioning a lot about the things about religion. I wasn't really questioning, it was just like asking questions to whatever religious leader was willing to listen. Usually the priest. And yeah. I basically just went on with my life until I was like 14. And I basically just like, for no fucking reason, started looking up other religions because I thought it was fun. I thought it was like, oh, this is really interesting. There's one thing you need to know about me. I'm a huge fucking nerd. And when I get interested in something, I really get interested in it. I started looking into other religions. One in particular, because I just thought the whole concept of it was funny. Pastafarianism. The Church of the Flying Spaghetti Monster. I was just like, this is like really funny, and I'm not sure if people believe this like dead ass, but it's a really interesting concept. And I started, asking myself all these questions about the nature of religion and all that stuff. I thought I was deep. This is literally, I'm 14 and this is deep. I thought I was like a deep fucking philosopher. Then at age 15, the doubts just continued, kept on piling on. You know, that what everyone does when they're like, you know, deconverting. That's what you can call it, deconverting. Um, I was just like asking myself these questions, trying to rationalize with myself about why these things happen if there is a God. And then I realized at that same age at 15, it was just like a random ass fucking day. Oh, I don't believe in this anymore. No, really, that was it. I was just like, I don't believe in this shit anymore. Did I feel betrayed? Honestly, yeah. Because my parents, like, brought me up into this. My teachers, I grew up in a religious school. My teachers brought me up into this. I felt like I got scammed. But then I realized, oh wait, these people really believe this stuff, so it's not really their fault. They just thought they were teaching me something that they thought was true. So I just like reached the conclusion I don't believe in God. Everything was easy by then, right? Wrong. I still had to before like reaching 15 years old, I joined up like something to prepare myself for this Catholic ritual called confirmation, which is basically what you do the year after communion, or like, 1 or 2 years after communion. I can't remember too well, but yeah. I signed myself up to do this. Then I lost my faith. I stopped believing. And I was like, oh shit, I guess I'm stuck here now. I finally, did the whole confirmation thing at age 16. I hated every second of the ceremony. And in fact, whenever someone, tried to congratulate me for it and said, oh, I'm so proud of you for doing this, I got pissed. I got pissed because, yeah, sure, you might think it's a good thing, but I don't. I fucking don't. I don't believe in any of this stuff anymore, so what the fuck am I celebrating? That I gave up what I truly believe in just so I could do this fucking charade and be bored in mass for a fucking hour and then eat like a tiny little cracker? I was truly disappointed in myself for, not fucking off. But I didn't know back then that you could, at least in the Catholic school I was brought up in, if you didn't want to do it anymore, at any point, you could just fuck off. I didn't know that until my last year at that school. I didn't know that until senior year. So yeah, after all that, I was just bored of it all, bored of everything religious about that stuff. So I just didn't engage. I stopped engaging with religion whenever the there was a morning prayer, because that's some shit that they did. I would Fun fact, this is when I started getting into Satanism. Around that time I started getting into Satanism. I consider myself a Satanist, even though I'm not an official member of the Church of Satan or the Satanic Temple. And so, yeah, I was really over it. I didn't want anything to do with Christianity. For a moment, I considered apostasy and formally leaving the religion, but then I realized, nah, trying to make a deal with these fucks to leave, it's probably just gonna be a waste of time. So I just stopped engaging with religion in school whatsoever. I just I wear earphones, headphones in my case, because I'm autistic, and they allowed me to wear them in school. So I started using that shit to my advantage, and I literally just like put them on whenever there was like a prayer. And I put on The Satanic Mass by Anton LaVey. One, because for some reason I really fucking enjoyed the music. And two, because it was like my own sort of. It wasn't really like even a protest or anything. It was just like me doing my own sort of thing, separate from the group. Physically in, mentally out, that sort of shit. And I kept this up until my final year at the school, which was 2024. And when I graduated, I stopped giving a fuck about anything that happened at the school with in terms of religion and stuff. I told my teacher, my religion teacher, that I was fun fact, I told her I was an atheist. I never told her I consider myself an atheistic Satanist. Never told her. But when the first time I told her I was an atheist, she just like didn't seem to care. She just like, it was like, I think it was like second to last year at the school. She was just like, oh, okay, and then moved on. That was honestly better than what I was expecting. I was expecting her to stone me to death right then and there. And then, like, senior year rolled around. We basically had, like, a similar discussion about, like, the different religions around the world and stuff. And she was like, there's also people that don't believe in any god or anything like that. They're called atheists. I just raised my hand and said, I'm one. I'm an atheist. I'm just gonna say that. And she was like, really? I was like, I told you this. You don't remember it? I just had to end on a funny note because, honestly, I just needed something to laugh at.